While luxury brands across the board are lowering entry prices, scrambling to sell newness, and launching logo-heavy drops to grab attention, Hermes raised its prices again in 2025, and people are still desperate to get one. No flashy campaigns, no mass influencers, not even e-commerce for the Birkin or the Kelly. And yet, everyone wants one, even the ones who say they don't. And this year, a single bag changed everything. Jane Birkin's original Hermès Birkin bag, the very prototype designed for her in 1984, sold at auction for 8.6 million euros. A worn, used, hand-carried bag with scratches, softening and stories embedded into its grain became the most expensive handbag ever sold. So today we're diving into what makes people willing to do anything to get a Hermès bag. Why does Hermès operate so differently and succeed at it? What is it really selling? Why do people spend 20k on a purse in a recession while other brands can't even get customers interested in new collections? Let's talk price, psychology, quality, and obsession. This is GTWJ, where fashion thinks deeper. And make sure you're following at GTWJMag on Instagram for the stories behind fashion's most powerful pieces. Let's start with the 2025 market. Hermès raised global prices again this year, about 6 to 10% across categories. Birkins and Kellys saw some of the steepest jumps, especially in classic leathers and neutral colours. In most brands, this kind of increase would spark backlash, but with Hermès, it sparks more desire, because the price isn't seen as a deterrent, it's seen as proof. Proof that the bag still means something, and in 2025, meaning is the ultimate luxury. People don't want just status anymore, they want significance. And Hermès has spent decades building an ecosystem where every detail reinforces that significance. One artisan makes each bag from start to finish. The leathers, Togo, Epsom, Barinia, box calf, each carry their own tactile personality. Stitching is done by hand, grain is matched by eye, hardware is fitted only after the leather has had time to settle. The result? A bag that ages with you, that can be resold, repaired, even passed down. No flashy marketing, no trend and drops, no collab of the month. Hermès doesn't chase customers, it builds gate-kept access systems so the customer has to prove they're worthy. The Birkin isn't sold online. There's no click to buy, there's no public waitlist. Getting one involves building a profile across categories: scarves, ready-to-wear, shoes, tableware. It requires store relationships, patience, and a kind of invisible performance. It's not a transaction, it's a ceremony. That's what makes the obsession so intense, because in fashion, when something becomes hard to get, it becomes irresistible. But Hermès isn't just selling exclusivity, it's selling control, and psychologically that taps into something powerful. The need to belong to something elite without being marketed to. The need to signal success, taste, and discretion in one object without saying a word. Even people who claim they don't care, still care. Because in every city, there's that woman in the cafe, phone face down, holding a softened Etoupe Kelly with gold hardware, linen trousers, clean loafers. No visible branding. But everyone knows she has a Hermès bag, and this year, that kind of presence means more than ever. We're seeing a fatigue in fashion. Loud luxury is being questioned, drop culture is oversaturated, there are too many collections, too many monograms, too much marketing. But Hermès, it remains silent, still, slow. And in that silence, it becomes even louder. That's what the 8.6 million Birkin proved. This was a bag made for one woman, not for mass consumption. It wasn't flawless, it was personal, and it was treated like an artwork. The scratches, the soft leather, the subtle fading, all signs that it lived, that it mattered. And in 2025, people are tired of throwaway luxury. They want permanence, something that ages well, something that won't be on clearance in 6 months. Hermès understands that deeply. It offers not just bags, but heritage. Every detail is a symbol of stability. Enamel bracelets that clip perfectly, double-face coats sewn from the inside, cashmere that holds its shape for decades, a scarf that can be reworn 100 different ways, nothing rushed, nothing over-explained. This year's styling in-store has been a quiet masterclass. Soft tobacco suedes, double-pleated linen trousers, bone-white cotton poplins, jewellery barely visible, belts folded from silk scarves, shoes that match the bag in tone, but not in leather. The language is subtle, but fluent. Everything reads like it was chosen, not marketed. And here's what's so rare. Hermès is one of the only brands where desire increases with silence. They don't have to make a new bag for people to want the old ones more. They don't need runway gimmicks or viral TikToks. People will still fly to Paris, wait years, or spend tens of thousands on secondary platforms just to hold that elusive orange box. Because Hermes doesn't need to convince you, it simply lets you want it. So if you're wondering why some brands struggle to spark interest, and Hermes doesn't even have to speak, this is why. It's not hype, it's hierarchy. It's not trend, it's tradition. And in a world where most fashion feels temporary, Hermes has become the one name that still feels eternal. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the 2025 Hermes rise? Would you ever buy a Birkin or a Kelly? Or do you think it's all about the illusion? Do you love it? Hate it? Secretly want one? Make sure to follow at GTWJ Mag on Instagram for more behind-the-scenes fashion analysis, trend deep dives, and the psychology of what we wear. And I'll see you in the next one, where fashion thinks deeper. And what's even more fascinating is this. Jane Birkin's original prototype Birkin bag from 1984, the very one that started it all, was just sold for €8.6 million. Yes, not a diamond Birkin, not a newer, customized exotic, the original, the one Jane Birkin herself carried, scuffed, stickered, and loved. Now tell me, what other luxury house can get that kind of valuation on a used 40-year-old leather bag? Not pristine, not rare, not part of a capsule drop, but a prototype. And that sale wasn't about the material, it was about the story, the mythology, and the emotion we attach to it. And that's Hermes. It doesn't manufacture demand, it curates obsession, it doesn't flood the market with microtrends. It makes you chase a ghost. And for most people, the journey is the whole point. It's the emotional prestige of being deemed worthy. Worthy of the wait, worthy of the relationship with your SA, worthy of stepping into a boutique and being remembered, even if you're not an A-lister. This is where we need to understand the psychology behind why people will do anything for a Hermes bag, even people who claim they don't care. Because the truth is, the desire for a Birkin or a Kelly doesn't come from the bag. It comes from what it says about you. It says, I am a person who doesn't chase trends, I am the trend. It says, I waited, I built, I was chosen. Even in 2025, while other luxury houses are hiking prices in desperation or lowering them to move, Hermes is holding firm. Their price increases don't signal panic, they signal power. They don't raise prices to recover, they raise prices because they can. Because we'll pay it. Because psychologically, if the price went down, we'd stop wanting it. It's luxury reverse psychology at its finest. And here's something else worth noting. While brands like LVMH and Kering are being scrutinized for losing their cool factor or diluting brand heritage to keep up with TikTok cycles, Hermes is doing the opposite. They don't collaborate every season, they don't hire viral creative directors, they don't rely on logos to sell. In fact, they don't even advertise aggressively. They don't need to, because you advertise for them. Every wishlist video, every Hermes haul, every story time about getting offered your first bag. And the exclusivity, it's not fake, it's not scarcity marketing. Hermes keeps tight control over production, artisanship, and store-level distribution. Every bag is handcrafted, which means they literally can't mass produce even if they wanted to, and they never will. In 2025, Hermes remains one of the only fashion houses not beholden to trends, investor hype, or fleeting influencer moments. It's a world unto itself. And that's what people are really buying when they buy a Birkin. They're buying a membership to a club that doesn't even accept applications. So if you're watching the luxury market and wondering why people are starting to fall out of love with brands that once dominated the handbag scene, look at how those brands tried to be for everyone. Hermes never did. And that's the takeaway here. Exclusivity only works when it's real, when it's rooted in time, tradition, and intentional design, when you can't fake it. That's what Hermes understands in 2025. That's why they're not just surviving, they're defining the very essence of what luxury still means in a world where that word is being questioned more than ever. Let me know in the comments. Would you ever pay the price for a Birkin? Do you believe Hermes deserves its status, or is it all just brilliantly controlled psychology? And make sure to follow at GTWJ Mag on Instagram for more fashion deep dives, exclusives, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns you won't find anywhere else. GTWJ, where fashion thinks deep.